For years, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have built a narrative around life after the monarchy. Since stepping away from royal duties in 2020, they have spoken openly about their experiences, launched high-profile projects, signed major media deals, and positioned themselves as independent voices on the global stage. But what happens when the royal family enters a completely new era? What happens when Prince William becomes king? Many royal watchers believe that William's eventual reign could represent the biggest challenge Harry and Meghan have faced since leaving Britain, not because of dramatic confrontations, not because of public feuds, and not because of sensational headlines. The real reason may be far more powerful. A King William could create a monarchy that simply moves on without them. For decades, the relationship between Prince William and Prince Harry was one of the most closely watched bonds in the world. They were seen as inseparable brothers who endured extraordinary tragedy together after the loss of their mother, Princess Diana. The public watched them grow from grieving young princes into respected royal figures. When Harry married Meghan in 2018, many believed a new chapter had begun for the monarchy. William and Catherine represented the future king and queen, while Harry and Meghan brought a modern energy that appeared capable of attracting younger audiences. At first, the arrangement looked promising. But behind the scenes, reports of tensions began emerging. Differences in personality, priorities, and approaches to royal life gradually became impossible to ignore. What once seemed like a united front started showing visible cracks. Then came the departure. Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from royal duties shocked the world. The move triggered years of controversy, interviews, documentaries, books, and endless speculation about the state of the royal family. Throughout much of that period, King Charles remained at the center of attention. As monarch, Charles has often been viewed as a bridge between generations. His reign carries the weight of tradition while also attempting modernization. Because of that unique position, many observers have believed there was still room for reconciliation. A father may forgive. A father may leave doors open. A father may continue hoping for family unity. But a future King William could approach matters very differently. Those who have followed William closely describe him as disciplined, focused, and deeply protective of the institution he is destined to lead. Unlike Charles, William has spent much of his adult life preparing for a future in which the survival of the monarchy depends on public trust and stability. He has repeatedly emphasized streamlined operations, clear responsibilities, and a royal family that delivers visible value to the public. That philosophy could have major consequences. The challenge for Harry and Meghan is not necessarily that William would actively oppose them. Greater concern could be that he no longer sees them as relevant to the monarchy's future. Imagine a royal institution led entirely by William and Catherine, a monarchy centered around the Prince and Princess of Wales, their children, and a carefully selected group of working royals. In such a structure, there may be little practical need for Harry and Meghan at all. That possibility changes everything. For years, discussions about Harry and Meghan have remained closely tied to their royal connections. Whether supporters agree with them or critics challenge them, one fact remains undeniable. Their relationship with the monarchy continues to generate enormous public interest. The royal connection has always been part of the story. But under King William, the palace may have the ability to redefine the narrative entirely. Instead of responding to controversies, William could simply focus public attention elsewhere. On the future King, Prince George, on Princess Charlotte, on Prince Louis, on Catherine's role as future queen, on modern charitable initiatives, on environmental programs, on national service, on the next generation of the royal family. If that happens, Harry and Meghan could find themselves facing a difficult reality. The spotlight may gradually shift away from conflict and toward continuity, and history suggests that the monarchy often survives by doing exactly that. One of the institution's greatest strengths has been its ability to outlast controversy. Scandals that once dominated headlines eventually fade. Public attention moves forward. New events replace old disputes. William understands this perhaps better than anyone. Throughout years of public speculation, he has generally maintained a strategy of silence. While others engage in public debates, William has frequently chosen restraint. Critics sometimes interpret that silence as coldness. Supporters see it as discipline. Either way, reflects a leadership style that could become even more pronounced when he wears the crown. A King William may not feel compelled to answer every criticism. He may not engage in public back-and-forth exchanges. He may not offer repeated opportunities for reconciliation discussions to play out in the media. Instead, simply focus on governing the institution. That approach alone could weaken one of Harry and Meghan's greatest advantages, public attention. Because attention is currency. The more the royal family responds, the more headlines are generated. The more headlines are generated, the more public interest remains alive. But what happens when the palace stops participating in the conversation? What happens when the monarchy no longer treats controversy as a central issue? For Harry and Meghan, that scenario could prove deeply challenging. Their public image has evolved considerably since leaving royal life. They have pursued business ventures, media projects, and advocacy work. Yet many of those efforts continue to be viewed through the lens of their royal history. Without that ongoing connection, the public conversation may gradually change. And then there is another factor that should not be underestimated: Catherine. The Princess of Wales has become one of the most popular members of the royal family. Her steady approach, commitment to duty, strong public image have made her a powerful symbol of stability. As future queen, her influence is expected to grow even further. A William and Catherine monarchy would likely project an image of continuity, family values, and long-term planning. That image could become increasingly attractive to a public tired of endless royal drama. And if public attention shifts decisively toward that vision of the future, Harry and Meghan may discover that their biggest challenge is not criticism. It is irrelevance. Because for any public figure, opposition can be managed, controversy can be navigated, critics can be answered, but being ignored is far more difficult to overcome. And that may be the scenario Prince William is quietly preparing for. Not a confrontation, not a royal showdown, not a dramatic battle between brothers. Something far simpler, something far more effective. A future in which the monarchy thrives without Harry and Meghan playing any role in it. And if that future arrives, the consequences could extend far beyond public perception. There are already signs that William's long-term vision for the crown may be far more ambitious and far more decisive than many people realize. If Prince William ultimately becomes king with the vision many royal insiders believe he holds, then the biggest challenge for Harry and Meghan may not come from any specific decision. It may come from a complete change in priorities. For years, conversations about the Sussexes have often centered on whether they might return to royal duties, reconcile with senior family members, or somehow reestablish a formal role within the institution. But William's actions over the past several years suggest that he may be looking in a very different direction. His focus appears increasingly fixed on the next generation. Rather than expanding the number of working royals, William has consistently supported the idea of a more focused monarchy, one that emphasizes efficiency, accountability, and a smaller core team carrying out official duties. In that model, every position matters. Every role serves a defined purpose. And every public appearance reinforces the monarchy's long-term future. That future is increasingly represented by Prince George, Princess Charlotte, Prince Louis. As the children grow older, public fascination with them continues to increase. They symbolize continuity in a way few royal figures can. For William, investing in that future may be far more important than revisiting disputes from the past. That reality creates a difficult question. If the monarchy is moving forward successfully, what incentive would a King William have to reopen old chapters? The answer may be very little. Throughout history, successful monarchies have often relied on consistency rather than confrontation. Institutions that endure are usually the ones that focus public attention on stability, service, and continuity. William appears to understand that principle well. Rather than engaging in emotional public battles, he has repeatedly demonstrated a preference for measured responses and long-term planning. That approach could become even stronger once he occupies the throne, and this is where Harry and Meghan's concerns may become most significant. Their story has always depended, at least in part, on their relationship with the royal family. Whether discussing their experiences, responding to criticism, or launching new projects, the monarchy remains a central reference point. But if King William successfully shifts public attention entirely toward the future, that connection may become less influential over time. Generations of royal followers could grow up focused primarily on William, Catherine, George, Charlotte, and Louis. The center of gravity would move. The headlines would move. The public imagination would move. And once that process begins, reversing it becomes extraordinarily difficult. There is also the matter of public perception. William and Catherine have spent years cultivating an image of steadiness during periods of uncertainty. Their approach has often contrasted with the more dramatic narratives that have surrounded other royal family members. That image continues strengthening during William's reign. It could reinforce the monarchy's position while simultaneously reducing interest in past conflicts. The institution would no longer be defined by disagreements. It would be defined by succession, by continuity, by the future. For Harry and Meghan, that could represent a profound shift in circumstances, not because they would suddenly disappear from public life. Far from it. They would continue pursuing their own projects, charitable work, media ventures, and business opportunities. But they could find themselves operating in a world where the royal family no longer revolves around debates involving them. Instead, the monarchy would have established a new narrative, one in which their departure is viewed as a completed chapter rather than an ongoing story. Perhaps that is the most important point of all. The greatest strength of any institution is its ability to adapt and endure.